any ideas for like, do you have a topic you would like to hear about for like the next meetups and upcoming stuff? I know that I will push this agenda. I will be talking about Brazil, whether you want it or not. But like, are there topics you would want to hear about?
I think the common thing we heard was that people would like to see Go in real usage, like somebody talked about their production system use of Go and perhaps go through the code and any challenges they fit. We certainly have very ugly production codes right now. It's we'd probably be more comfortable sharing after a refactor.
We actually, we've been running for a month and a half now on a rewrite of, we had a Ruby image server, basically just doing resizes and stuff. I rewrote that in Go over a weekend and a half or so, and that's been running well. I can talk about that.
Mm-hmm. And that's out there, right? Photomat?
Yeah, that's open source.
And that topic area, like if somebody is facing that sort of a problem, watch this talk. It's on the Go website as OSCON-DL, as in Google's download server. This is a really good talk about how you do like serving of data that you can generate on the fly if necessary. And it's all about the group cache project, which is like one of those code bases that you should read through and understand because it will enlighten you.
Yes.
Now, Brad Fitzpatrick wrote Memcache.
Yeah.
He was a live journal. I know he's a big live
Live journal and Memcache.
Yeah. He's done some cool stuff.
This is like, group cache is like, within Go, a library-fied version of Memcache 2.0, essentially. It's like taking it to the next level. Memcache NG. Space Nine. But it's really like if you have that sort of a problem domain, that's a really good background to look at. But that would be interesting. Like and like the history of this little bolt mount thing is like it's short. It's 16 commits, but it's a full project that is fairly neat. We could just do code walkthroughs of something that is interesting, but like mention ideas on the Meetup board, put things on Trello. If you have like, I would like to hear more about blah blah blah.
Yeah, that would be really helpful. For those that don't know, I was in desperate, like, somebody please speak at this meeting. Like, one of the reasons for the later scheduling was like finding the topics and people being able to present. So even if you haven't presented before, or if you'd like help on getting ready to present, those that have presented at the meetup before, happy to help you. There's a Trello board that you can participate and suggest topics. Even if you don't know how to give the topic, like adding topic ideas there that are things people would want to, to give us an idea of what people would want to hear. Like so that's the more input on that front, the better we can be. If there were more, at some point, even if you know, like sending me a list, I'm the organizer on the list, so I'm easy on the things, so I'm easy to find. Like startups that might be using Go locally that maybe want to present some of what they're doing, so that people are using Go in production, like, hey, this is, like, if they're willing to review some of their code base. And then maybe I'll schedule well in advance one of the walkthroughs on the advanced synchronization topics or whatever, so people that want to participate in that type of thing could prep for it. And maybe I'll set one of those like a month from now, so that people that want to walk through like one of the more challenging Go things together, we can do that. We have other conference rooms that are people don't want to sit on couches while they're coding. I like to sit on a couch and code, but not everybody does. We also have conference rooms where we could that could accommodate almost this many people sitting. So at a desk, at a table.
So is there a best hosting environment for Go? Just AWS, or I know there's a cloud service I saw recently. I don't know if
It
it's like
doesn't
that.
seem like it has much demands on how you host it, other than,
It's actually, because everything compiles to a single binary, it's approximately the easiest thing to deploy ever.
When you do that, do
What-
you
what-
compile it to the different architecture? And
Yeah.
you just upload that binary? You don't.
we cross-compile on OS X to Linux, and then just deploy the binaries, but there are some optimizations. That
Yeah, there's a very minor performance penalty for like network intensive or and you're limited to not be able to use CGO. So if you've got libraries that you require to recover the written in C, you can't do that. But if you compile on Linux, you can basically you end up with a relatively large binary. Like Hello World is 5 megs.
Because it includes all the standard.
But you just copy that binary anywhere that's Linux 64-bit, any OS, and it will just work.
There's some, once, right?
Yeah.
So, 5 meg.
No, it's because it includes the standard library includes a whole lot. So
Well, actually, like, only the things you use are included from the standard library, but the problem is that the runtime itself is not the
I'm sorry,
tiniest thing.
the run.
Plus, it's like, while it has been kind of relevant, it has never been a real criteria. I mean, whose machine is going to run out of disk for storing a 5 meg binary? Like, it's just...
But and following it's sort of following the footsteps of Google again. The Google C++ binary is statically compiled, and Hello World in that is 150 megs. So
That is a OS 10 cross-compile on a Linux box right there. That's all it took. So, cross-compiling is...
on the machine. I mean, being in the rest of our environment's Ruby, like we fight over whose RDM is going to win on the what patch level we're running and stuff in order to
You
like
guys use
keep
RDM in
everything in
production?
sync. What's that?
You guys use RVM in production?
No.
Oh.
But locally, like we have a Ruby version file, like to match the version that's in production, and then some will have 1.9.3 symlinked to whatever the patch level is. I have mine set to the specific patch level that matches production, and then I break when I try to use somebody else's RV version that's been checked in. I mean, there's just not those like type of environment issues that both Python and Ruby at least like that deal with, and with Java, TrueCar, we tuned to the type of environment you were on, like the garbage collection settings and other stuff in order to get good performance. So it was always like wherever you're deploying, like makes a big difference. Like for Go, it's like, no, you've got the executable there, you're done, and things, you only care if you care about concurrency level, changing the number of procs or whatever.
So, you mentioned that the Hello World was 5 megs. Well, that's more than a 10,000 line application that's less than 9 megs. So, like, there is overhead, but it doesn't, like, keep
growing.
growing. There is, like, a minimum that it doesn't go below, but that's it. I think 10 megs for a thing that is as complex as that is, it's quite small.
So do you think actually like bigger databases and like when you said that, actually I was thinking of like Riak, that one of the benefits of Riak and other systems like that is that they sort of linearly scale. That's the whole idea. One of the reasons why they were using Erlang. So I mean, obviously Erlang's been around for a long time. Do you think Go, as it becomes bigger and more mature, people are actually going to be developing bigger and bigger systems and databases and things like that because of the nature of it, that it stays?
I mean, that's pretty much what
It's-
Google wanted.
it's what it's designed for.
Okay.
A lot of the, particularly the Go routines and concurrency, the ability to deal with lots of things in flight at once. They experimented with Python for a while and just couldn't get
Yeah.
the performance they do
Yeah,
out of it.
Python's not for that.
But I mean, their other choices thus far have been C++ and Java, which are both relatively verbose for. They've got people. The interesting distributed systems problem solved. We should be writing application code,
Yeah.
and it'd be nice if we didn't have to write so much code to make an application. So this is their goal there. And Google does things like they've got a team of. It's been a while since I've checked, but it was at least 10 people just working on the kernel.
Okay.
Just because if they can squeeze an extra 1% out of their entire million-plus machine fleet, like it definitely pays the salaries of everybody there.
Yeah.
If they can squeeze an extra 1% out of their running application code, like that also makes sense. So they're in a and anything that you can anticipate building that is likely to be something that Google would want to do as well. I think that if it doesn't do it now, it likely will at some point in the not too distant future make it relatively easy to do that. Fourth thing, building something like React.
Yeah.
Sure. I think that it's
Interesting.
probably at a place that I'd be comfortable with that